G'day there fellas and Sheilas, it's your boy I Read Reddit back at it again with some more entitled parent stories. Now if you're new to the channel, don't forget to smash that subscribe button, sit back, relax and enjoy the show. I think you're gonna love it. Our first story comes from user Arkham Knight 342, titled, Woman tries to get me kicked out of the store for using the trial PS4. Grab some popcorn guys, this one's a little long. All the speech was in Arabic, I've just translated it into English for y'all. This happened 5 days ago. So I live in Saudi Arabia and there's a huge chain of stores called Jariyah Bookstore. They sell everything from electronics, books, office supplies and stationery. I never imagined I'd end up meeting an entitled mother in Saudi Arabia, but here we go. Our cast are me, Meatball Eater, EM, Entitled Mother, EK, Entitled Kid, and SM, staff member. So I had to take some of my relatives out for shopping, as my family thinks I'm very mature. I'm anything but that, Lamau. So we go to the aforementioned Jariyah bookstore, and I get pretty bored as I realize I forgot to charge my phone. I then see a trial PS4 that had Spider-Man running on it. There were 2 kids there, the entitled kid and the innocent younger brother. I'd say they were 7 and 5 years of age. I stand there, waiting for my turn, as I felt like a dick when I thought about asking 2 little kids to leave the PS4. Before my own confrontation with the entitled mother, she had come with some chairs from the office section. One of the guys at a nearby help desk informed her that it wasn't allowed, but she of course ignores them and places the chairs down anyway. She then left to go to the shop, and the staff later took the kids' chairs, and when she came back, she was real irked off by the chairs no longer being there, but she didn't freak out just yet. Now comes the part where I became the target of the entitled mother. Enter staff member. Hey, you waiting to use that PS4? Yeah, but I can just wait for these kids to finish. Trust me, those kids have been gone for the better part of an hour now. Here, you should take your turn. The staff member then tries to explain to the entitled kid that he's been playing for a while and that other people deserve a turn. He indicates to me at this point. The entitled kid runs off, bawling while his confused brother runs after him. Both the staff member and I realize that the entitled mother is going to return at any point now and crucify us for doing that. I take my place at the PS4 and play for roughly 3 or 4 minutes before the entitled mother does return. She goes, "Who do you think you are, kicking my children off the PS4 like that?" The staff member was still there. He told me that it was best if he stuck around in case Karen came back. And he goes, "Ma'am, your children were using the PS4 for practically an hour. It's not fair to other people who want a turn." The entitled mother then shoves the staff member to the side and goes batshit crazy on me. And goes, "You immature child, can you let my kids enjoy themselves? You should be doing something productive with your life. Go read a book. Or are you too dim-witted to do that much?" Listen, lady. As the staff member stated, your kid had a long turn, and they should let the others have a turn. The entitled mother starts pretty much yelling obscenities at me and starts demanding the nearby staff members that I be removed from the store. She ended up being the one removed, along with her children. It was a pain in the butt, but hey, the chill staff member gave me a $100 gift card for my trouble. What I find funny about these stories is they call the OP immature, when it's in fact the entitled mothers that are the most immature in the situation. Like, they're looking for a fight. Always. Our next story was posted by user Shadow Phoenix, titled, "Really? You cannot wait for the bus driver to get out of the bus?" So this just happened, and I thought it would fit here perfectly. Currently, I'm on my way home after a day of work. Frick yeah. Finally, the weekend. I was waiting at the train station, which is also a bus station, for my bus to arrive. All is chill, and I see the bus coming, so I get ready and walk to the platform where it will depart from. It's a big bus station, so we have multiple platforms for at least 15 buses to depart from. When I was standing at the platform, I could see the bus was packed, and the bus driver wanted to get out as well. Me being me, decided to wait before getting in, so that then the bus driver can get out without having to work his way through a whole load of people. Mind you, I have headphones on, listening to music, when I hear people behind me complaining. People were also pushing me to get into the bus. Fortunately, I have a history of being a water polo goalie, so I have pretty strong legs and I'm able to stand my ground. I let the bus driver out and got in the bus. The only thing I'm seeing right now are people giving me filthy looks. I'm sorry, but if you're in a hurry, you shouldn't take public transport. That bus won't drive away without a driver, so we'd have to wait anyway for the other driver to get seated. Honestly, these entitled people. Our next story was posted by user Ethereon195, titled, Entitled Dad Tries to Cut and Rush Through Line, Has to Pay Thousands. Short background. This happened like 3 years ago, so I don't remember every detail to 100%, and this whole story won't have much of actual conversation in it. It just sums everything up. The story happened on a train ride from my hometown, where my family lives, to the city of my own place where I work, halfway across the country, which is roughly 350 kilometers away, on a Sunday evening. Since I was visiting my family over the weekend, and since it had a rather bad connection, I had to switch trains 3 times on every trip, and each trip took about 5 hours in total. My foot was injured, which is important later. I don't really know why anymore though, and I was in training at work, therefore I didn't earn that much, which is also important later. Now to the details of the story. It was starting to get to winter, and as you would expect, the National Train Company was taken by its surprise. As always, So many trains were late or completely cancelled. I started my travel at 6 PM to theoretically arrive at roughly 11 PM at my desired arrival station. Then, winter struck, and my first train got there 10 minutes late on a 15-minute ride. This caused me to rush to the next train in pain because of my foot. As luck will have it, the connecting train either already left or never even came, so I had to wait an hour for the next one. This one also arrived at the next stop with a delay of 45 minutes, so I arrived there at about 9:45 PM. The last train to my destination was leaving at roughly 8:30 PM for that day. There was another at 10:30 PM, but I would have only arrived the next morning at roughly 6 AM. Since this was a very big train station in a big city, and the fact that the train company was forced to give me compensation for their failure to transport me, I stayed there instead of ending up in some small village station, where I wouldn't be guaranteed to get a hotel, or even to get away from the train station itself, since I didn't have much money to pay a taxi, and the fact that those small stations usually don't have any personnel or ATMs. So I headed to the information counter, and that's where this story unfolded. Our cast are me, he whose name shall not be told, Entitled Dad, ED, TA, train station assistant, plus many more who will not get abbreviations. Let's go! So I come up to the desk and tell the lady my story and my demands per their company's policy and the law, which includes them having to pay for the night in their contracted hotel near the train station and changing my ticket from tied to certain trains to open, so that I could get to my destination without having to purchase a new ticket. Pretty standard stuff. While I was speaking to the train station assistant, the entitled dad and his 2 kids came up behind me. The kids didn't do anything though. And even though there are clear signs and posters all around the information desk that tells people to exercise discretion and wait behind an indicated line, the entitled dad comes up, crouching right beside me. It annoyed me, but I figured that I had a bad matchup against him with my bad foot, in the case that I confronted him. But then, he started to slowly scurry towards me, and slowly pushed me out of the way with his body weight in small steps. At that point, I had enough, and pushed him away, and the following discussion ensued. Dude, what's wrong with you? Can't you read? The sign clearly states that you should stay back there, and pushing me away while I'm still talking is a jerk move. Shut up! I have 2 small kids, and you are taking way too long anyway. They are tired, and they need to get to a hotel room soon. You're young. You can walk to another hotel. Hey, no! You shut up! I have exactly the same right to that hotel room as you, and I was here first, so get back in line and learn to behave like a normal adult. The train station assistant chimes in and says, Sir, Please step behind the line and stop bothering the passenger. We weren't finished yet. Shut up! I said we need a room fast. Then he turns to me and goes, and now get out of my way. Frick off, jerk. He kicks my leg away, causing me to fall hard on the granite floor with my elbow and now completely twisting my injured foot. The train station assistant then yells out, "Security!" Please be reminded that one security guy, another train station assistant, and 2 other passengers were standing right next to us on the second counter during the whole situation, and they saw everything. Well, the security guy grabs and fixes the entitled dad to the ground. The entitled dad's kids are crying and scared, as to be expected. The 2 train station assistants tried to console them and called the police, and the other passengers helped me, as I was in severe pain, and called an ambulance. The police took statements and identification from everyone and let everyone else go, since they had no reason to arrest him immediately. Then the whole after story hit him full force. I had to stay the night and next full day and night in a hospital for checks, and was then let go on crutches. My ankle was sprained, but my elbow was fine. I only hit the funny bone. Since I still couldn't walk well enough and was in too much pain to take the train, I had to call a taxi to drive me the 250 kilometers to my own place. In hindsight, it would have been better to get back to my family, but well, you're always smarter afterwards. My parents quickly sent me money for it via PayPal, after they heard the story and my plans. So I didn't have to go to work for a month, since that job required me to stand and walk all day, and had time to get a lawyer. My parents lent me money for this, since I could never have afforded a lawyer, and sue the guy in civil court. I didn't try criminal court, since it wouldn't have brought any personal gain to me. In the end, the judge granted me a damage pay of roughly 400 euros for the pain and another half of my monthly pay for financial loss, because the guy behaved like a D-bag in court, insulted me and the judge, lying, screaming, etc. And of course the entitled dad had to pay his and my lawyer costs, and the court costs, as is standard. The thing is, I didn't even have a high financial loss, since my employer still had to pay my salary while I couldn't work. I just had to order enough food for the next few weeks, since I couldn't go grocery shopping that well. The entitled dad felt like this was unfair and appealed. Well, let's just say the next judge upped the damage pay by roughly 100 euros, because the entitled dad still behaved like a D-bag. He didn't try a next round. So to sum it up, he most likely lost 4 lawsuits, 2 against me, 1 against my health insurance, and 1 against my employer. Had to pay around 500 euros, roughly half of my salary for my financial loss, another 500 euros, my taxi bill for the long ride home, special long distance taxi, so more expensive, plus the driver's ride back into the original city or his operation zone, around an extra 850 euro. My lawyer's costs, 3,000 euros, court costs, also easily a few hundred euros, his own lawyer, most likely not cheaper than mine, probably all my hospital bills, the crutches, painkillers, etc. My actual salary and all the lawyer and court costs for those lawsuits. I said probably for the medical and salary payments, because I don't know if they sued or if everything was paid for by his insurances, which is highly unlikely, and that his premiums on his health insurance had gotten higher. So yeah, I alone got roughly 5,000 euros from him, plus all the rest that he and his insurance had to pay. Phew! You made it through this novel. Congratulations and sincere apologies for me for this long wall of text. Edit 2. To add to the backstory, the train company pays as compensation 25% of the ticket price if you arrive greater than 1 hour late at your destination, and 50% if you're greater than 2 hours late. Other than that, they either have to get you a hotel room in one of their contracted hotels for free, or you pay the taxi and hotel up to a certain amount. If you get them yourself, that is. It's very complicated since some rules negate each other or make exceptions, etc. And applying for the ticket refund is hell. Without an online ticket and the app that tracks every tiny detail, it would be impossible to fill out the form to apply for that detail. Our next story comes from user Perks of Being Crafty, titled, Entitled Mother Tries to Buy My Car for $1,000 when my asking price is $28,500. I'm selling my Range Rover, which is a 2017 model I bought 2 years ago, for $28,500. I've listed it online, and today I got an offer for $1,000 from a mum with this exact message. I'd like to offer $1,000 for this vehicle. Is this vehicle still available? My husband and I really need a new car, and I currently can't go to a car dealership because of my insurance claim, but I need something because I have an 11-month-old. I responded by saying that she's literally offering 3% of my asking price, and that no, unfortunately I can't agree to this. Update, this is slightly anticlimactic, but her new message says, yes ma'am, but I'm also willing to do financing options as well. I can promise to pay at most $1,000 every month. So, I'm not sure how long she intends to do this for. 2.5 years? And I'm not a bank, dude. How would I make sure she pays me? At this point, I think I'll just stop responding unless anyone has suggestions. Sorry she's not more of a psycho, and this didn't get to be entertaining for everyone. Edit 2. I had originally thought to post this on Choosing Beggars, but I read their pinned post and they literally gave this example of someone offering a super low price for your car as a kind of post they don't accept. And an update. I've now sold the car for $26,000. Damn. Should have been taken the offer for $1,000 a month, eh? And our last post comes from user How to Be a Popsicle, titled, Don't Mess with Grandma, aka Entitled Mum Shames My Mum for having a child at her age, in which the child was mine. Hello. So context, my son was born May 11th. We both had doctor's appointments, so I brought my mum along to have an extra set of hands. My name was called first, and I had some things that I wanted to talk to the doctor about seriously, and didn't want to be distracted with the baby, so I decided to let Grandma keep Squish in the waiting room while I went in. This all happened while I was talking to the doctor, so it's all that I was told by my mum. Let's go. Our cast star, Squish, my wonderful baby boy, Grandma, my mum, which is Squish's grandma, entitled Mummy Shammer, Karen. So after I left, Grandma was watching Squish while he played in his car seat. She was talking to him and playing too, and they were just overall minding their own business. The Karen and her daughter, who was an angel as Grandma said, stepped out of the elevator and into the office. Grandma didn't pay attention to her, and her kid took a particular liking to Squish. She wanted to see him and hold his hand. She was very gentle with him. After checking in, Karen came over and sat across from Grandma and rolled her eyes. Sweetie, come here. We don't know what kind of defects that baby has. Excuse me? You're far too old to be having babies. Your child probably has a ton of defects, and I don't want my daughter to play with defective children. Are you serious? Do you hear how incredibly crazy you sound? Oh, I'm not the crazy one. You waited too long and now your baby is defective. That's why you're here, isn't it? Well, I hate to break it to you, but no doctor can fix your stupid mistake. Listen, lady, that is my grandson, and I don't know who you think you are to tell me or anyone else when to have a child. You are not any sort of authority to me. I don't answer to you. The only one I answer to is God and anime, and he doesn't take too kindly to people like you who judge others. From what Grandma told me, Karen's mouth hung open as Grandma went on with her rant. She quoted Bible verses like Matthew 7:1-2 and Luke 6:37, basically saying that God was going to judge his lady hard for what she was saying. But my favorite part was how she ended her rant. Now I will forgive you for your judgment, because I don't know what challenges God has put before you, but I hope you use this as a starting point to get yourself in check and figure out why you feel the need to judge others in the first place. This went on for a while, with Grandma cutting off Karen anytime she tried to speak. By the time I got out of my appointment, things had settled, but you could have cut the tension with a knife. Karen sat with her arms and legs folded, teary eyes and a red face. While I think my grandma could have been a little less harsh, I know that her intentions were clear and that God can forgive her, and hopefully Karen. I hope Karen finds peace in herself someday. Edit. Karen thought that Squish might have defects, because as a woman gets older, the chance of birth defects go up. However, that chance is still very minimal. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode. Tell me what you thought of it in the comments and we can have a chat about it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the next episode and I'll see you then. Have a good day. Bye.